Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. And today we're going to be getting into the hips pretty well. So, what I would like for you to make sure that you have is a block or two. And what you may use this for is a modification for a squat that we're going to do. Some of you won't need this because you're going to do a different modification, or you might have a full squat, also known as Malasana squat, um, in your practice. And if you don't, you don't need that, you've got a beautiful squat, that's fine. If you know you're going to take a wall squat or a standing squat because maybe you've got a hip issue, knee issue, or what have you, and taking your hip knee height or below is not a good idea for your body, then that will be your modification and you probably won't need the blocks. But I've got my blocks here for me because we're going to be holding that squat for 2 minutes and I need support in order to do that. Okay. I've also got some folded blankets here. I'm also sitting on one. We will use a strap towards the end to get into the hips a little bit again. So we can have that handy, and otherwise, just folded blanket, things like that as you need them. Okay. So let's start with a nice comfortable seat. And as you come to the comfortable seat, envision this nice alignment. So you want the ears, the shoulders, and the hips to be in that alignment the best way you can get them there. And let's zip up that front body so we can support a nice strong back. Maybe a slight tuck in the chin. You can keep the eyes closed or maybe gaze cast down a little bit in front of you. And we'll just breathe here and settle in. And as you begin to settle, notice if there's anywhere in the body you could soften a little bit more. Is that a little bit more of a softening through the jaw, the shoulders, the hips? As you inhale through the nose, can you find some nice expansion of that rib cage? We'll take a few rounds of the Ujjayi pranayama here. That's the back of the throat constriction breath, also known as ocean breath or Darth Vader breath. So as you exhale, you're going to force air up and out the nose, making an H-A ha sound. That'll give the vibration. If you also would like to do this on the inhale, then you're going to make an A-H-ah sound as you inhale through the nose. Okay, so we still want to get that nice chest expansion on that inhale. And as you exhale here, and as you kind of deflate, if you will, take that belly button in towards the spine just a little bit deeper. So I cannot talk and do Ujjayi at the same time, but I'll do a few rounds so you can hear it, and then I will guide you through. So big inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Keep going. Inhale and expand. And then as you exhale that out through the nose, as you deflate, taking that belly button into the spine, we'll do that one more time. Inhale to expand, making that ah sound. And then exhale, making the ha sound as you deflate the ribs, taking the belly button in a little closer to the spine. That's a nice breath practice to do. The affirmations I'm going to give you today around serenity and calm. So always you can set your own intention, have your own affirmations, but this is a very calming nervous system breath and a nice little theme. So as we're here, keeping that Ujjayi pranayama as you can, inhale, arms up. Let's start on the right side today, taking a nice right side bend, keeping hips grounded. Your top arm, you want to try to get it over the ear, and you want this arm to be nice and long. When it's long, you get more of an engagement down the side. When it's bent, you lose some of that. So just kind of be mindful. And you also want to be mindful of the forward shoulder drop. Can you open that up just a little bit? And then once you're ready, good, we'll move through center. We'll take that towards left, reaching long over the ear, breathing and expanding that rib cage. And then when you're ready, good, we'll come back up, arms up, big inhale, exhale. We're gonna rotate towards the right, taking arms down, rolling shoulders back as we look behind us gently. Keeping that breath. And then once ready, inhale to lift, exhale center, inhale, exhale other side, arms coming down, rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit behind us. And then we'll inhale and lift, and exhale, come back down. Let's go into a little bit of a seated cat-cow here. I'll show you this one from a couple different angles. So from facing you, I'm gonna take my hands to my knees. My arms are long and they're gonna stay long the whole time. So as I go into extension, which is the cow, chest comes forward, pelvis tilts back, and I'm gonna look up. I'm using my knees a little bit as leverage here. And then as I go into the cat, which is your flexion, good, I'm gonna round the spine and I'm tucking that tail under, okay? So it might look like this. And based on your own body, remember, you don't have to do anything, really deep extension, really deep flexion. You just want to move how your body needs you to move. Now, I will do that for my side view. So here's your cow. Here's your cat. So you're moving the pelvis with you. And we'll inhale on the extension and exhale on that flexion one more time. Inhale and exhale. Good. For a moment, just take the hands right over the heart. Maybe some deep ujjayi breath here. And the first affirmation I'll give you is I inhale peace and exhale worry. I inhale peace and calm. I exhale worry. So if you need a visual here to help you out a little bit with peace and calm, envision a place that you consider safe for you. That might be in your own home. It might be a childhood home, wherever that is. Bring yourself back to that, and then inhale the peace and calm, and exhale the worry. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, we're going to take this forward. We're going to come into a child's pose here. So because we're going to be here for a little bit, and everybody is practicing on a different surface, if you need to have a little bit of knee cushion here, you're going to be here 2 minutes just in child's pose, and then the last minute, we're going to get a side bend with that. Then you can always, bring in a blanket here so your knees are comfortable. Okay. And then if you're on a mat, you can always keep the knees together as wide as your mat, or, just kind of taking it out wide or somewhere in between. Big toes can touch or not. And because we haven't really done this, maybe today, just kind of come forward and back a few times, kind of loosening up the hips, maybe loosening up the knee joints just a little bit here. Do it in the way that your body needs you to do it. Good. And then once you're ready, just kind of settle in. Now, a reminder here for all of these yin poses, remember, you only want to take it no more than your 90%. So we don't want to take it 100% into the pose, just about 90%. This will allow your body to get a good stretch, as well as having the freedom to move deeper into it as it's ready. And as always, if you feel pain, numbness, tingling or burning, you want to back off or come out completely. Now, while you're here, arms can be long in front of you. They can be back by the ankles. That depends on what the shoulder likes or needs. We're active, so we're zipping up that front body. Belly button is into the spine. And we're expanding that rib cage. You can bring in the ujjayi here. There's something else to maybe consider as you feel ready. If your knees are closer together to the start, as you settle in, you can always play with taking them a little bit wider and just see how that feels. Inhale, peace and calm. Exhale, worry. Sometimes your safe place might be just a relaxing place. So for me, that's typically going to be, like where I go on mountain hikes, maybe a mountain lake. Some people that's going to be beach, wherever that is for you. Good. Now from here, you're going to come up a little bit from there. Good. We're going to walk the hands over to your right side. Walk your left fingertips forward. Lift the hips just a little bit and then sink towards the left. And you're going to press into the right hand as you do that. Go to where you can go. We'll be here for 1 minute. Breathing and expanding. So really try to expand that left side of that rib cage because that's where the stretch is. And good. Carefully come back center. Good. A half or a full child's pose here. If you need to come forward and just lengthen out of there for a little bit, for a moment, give your body what it needs. What is it asking you to do? Okay. And then once you're ready, we're going to walk the hands over to the left. Walk your right fingertips forward. Lift the hips. Sink towards the right as you press into the left hand. And we'll breathe here. Working again on that expansion. On the right side this time. And then from here, good. We'll gently come back, half or full child's pose. Maybe you need to come forward here for a moment. Give your body what it needs. And then from here, we're going to go into that squat. And this is going to be 2 minutes. Now, different people are going to transition and come into this different ways. Okay. I am able to tuck my toes, shift back, grab a block and come right into my squat from here. Not everybody's able to do it that way. Some people, you might need to come to standing in the way that you need to get there. You might need to come up against a wall, just taking the legs wide, hips, knees, and toes are going to turn out. So taking the balance challenge out of it because your back's up against the wall and you're just going to take your squat where you're at. You may not have a wall close by, so maybe you just take a, wide standing squat here. You're still working all of these muscles. Some of you are going to take a couple blocks or two. If you're going to use a couple blocks, I recommend it 2 ways, stacking this way or stacking this way. For this one, because we're going to be here for 2 minutes, I don't like this way because you don't get enough support on the sits bones here. That's fine in a more vinyasa-based practice when we're not there as long. But for here, just this way or this way, just to give you an example, maybe it looks like that. Okay. Or you can do the way that I'm going to do it and have a block here and come here. Okay. So get there the way you need to get there. Something else that's very important. Your heels need to be on the floor, not up on the tippy toes. That puts a lot of unnecessary strain on the knees. And if you've already got a knee issue, you will make it worse practicing that way. Something else, you also want to be into a position where you're not collapsing into the inner arch here, causing this outside part of the foot to come up. You want to be able to press on the outside of the foot because when you do that, then your knee and your hips are tracking in a better alignment. Your knee won't really like it this way either. So be in a position that is good for your body. And we're just going to be here a couple minutes. Now I can come down, I'm low enough in my squat. My arms can just here or just be here and I'm just going to rest here. But I'm also very active. So again, the entire part of my foot is on the floor. I'm pressing through the outer edges of the feet. I'm zipped up into that front body. And I'm breathing and expanding here with that Ujjayi breath. There's something not thought about with serenity and calm in the nervous system, but something I found to be quite true. When we nourish our body, we nourish our spirit. And that's when we do that, we have a calmer nervous system. So when we try to reduce or get rid of excess sugar, excess caffeine, stimulants, those kinds of things, less processed foods, it actually does help the nervous system be more in balance and create less anxiety. That doesn't mean you'll never have a panic attack or something like that, but your overall well-being and demeanor will be a little bit more calmer and even. So when I nourish my body, I nourish my spirit. Inhale peace and calm, exhale worry. Now, how you come out of here to go into dangle also depends on what kind of squat you just did, okay? So I was relatively low to the ground. I'm going to take my hands to the floor. I'm just going to kind of come up. I'm going to work my feet a little bit closer together. I'm going to bend my knees and just dangle here. So here is a side view of what I just did. I'm kind of coming up here. I'm going to recommend whatever way you come into your dangle, knees are bent. Okay, knees are bent. If you want your head to hang on something, um, you can always build up block and just be right here like that. That actually feels pretty good for me. So I'm just going to stay here. You don't have to have this. It's just an option. All four corners of the feet pressing into that floor. 2 minutes. You can also grab opposite elbows if that would feel a little bit better to you. My feet are slightly wider than hip width apart, parallel. You can be hip width apart, be a little bit wider. How far you dangle just depends on your own body. It's okay if the hands don't touch the floor. Stay with the breath. Belly button is still in here. Good. Now, from here, we've had the head down. So we want to come out of here very carefully so we don't pass out. We are not going to jerk back up to standing. I want you to bend your knees enough to where your hands can come to the floor and then take your knees down to the floor. And we're going to come to a child pose here. Any of your choice. We will not be here long. If you're like, I don't want child pose, my knees don't want to do that right now. Come all the way down, slide forward, find a crocodile pose. Let that be your recovery position. So since I'm here, I'm just going to stay here, but you choose what your body needs for you right now. Nice big breath here. Maybe noticing anything that may have come up for you there. And then whenever you're ready, hands can come underneath the shoulders. We'll press yourselves up. And then we're going to come back to a seat. Now, I am going to bring in my folded blanket to sit on. We're going to come to a seated wide-legged forward fold, a seated wide-legged forward fold. And sitting up on a blanket just helps my pelvis be in just a better alignment, especially if you're tighter in the hip. That can be really good. So as I take my legs out wide here, good. I'm coming into an anterior tilt of the pelvis. So if you kind of think about it from a cat-cow perspective, where the chest comes forward and the pelvis tilts back, you're kind of doing that same thing. So I'm taking my tailbone behind me, my hip bones are coming forward. Now, if you're really tight in the hamstrings and your legs don't want to settle down, you can always take a blanket, pillow, whatever it is you have, and just kind of cushion under there. You don't have to think about keeping them bent or, the discomfort that sometimes comes with that. So take care of yourself. Good. I don't need one. I'm not using one today, but you can always have a bolster or a stack of folded blankets in front of you if that's something that you would like as well. This one is going to be for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And again, before we get started, notice how wide your legs are. If they are wide as possible, you want to bring them in a little bit. So for example, my legs are pretty wide, but this is my widest. I don't want to be there. I'm going to bring them in a little bit. That gives my body space to move when it's ready to move. So hip, knees, and toes are going to track towards the ceiling here. Good. Big inhale and reach. Exhale, long back, come forward, and then the hands can come down. So I want to keep a longer spine here today. I'm going to breathe and expand. Good. Now, we talked about inhaling peace and calm, exhaling worry, nourish the body, nourish the spirit. What about my internal dialogue is kind and loving? My internal dialogue is kind and loving. If it's negative all the time, it will contribute to nervous system imbalances. And that can be, that internal dialogue, changing that around. From my own past, that can be a muscle that needs a lot of work in order to change. So just start with something small and work up from there. It's really easy to get caught up in the negative, but how can you rephrase something and turn it positive? Or just think about something positive. For example, you're here with me. If you've made it this far in this video, class, you're here with me. That's something positive. You haven't given up. If you're just watching this video first without doing this practice, that's something positive. You haven't given up. You're checking things out. Good, and just notice as the body feels like it can go deeper. You can let it as long as it's safe for you. Try to do that on an exhale. Belly button is still into the spine here. Still bringing in those ujjayi breaths if you can. And if, the ujjayi, the back of the throat constriction is not for you, then just breathe by expanding the rib cage. Good. Now, like anything else, we don't want to just snap out of here. So nice and slow and controlled. Walk those hands back up. Good. Coming back to a tall seat. If it would feel good to you to put a bend in the knees or bringing the legs, forward for a moment, do so. If it would feel good to your body to get a little bit of a rotation from one side to the other, give yourself what you need. Good. And it's all good. All right. So we're going to take this into log stack. So some people call this a stacked pigeon for different reasons, and you'll see. And we're going to do this one on 3 minutes to each side as well. So you want to start with your base leg, and I'll show you this and then give you a modification here in a moment. So this happens to be my left leg. So I'm just going to kind of bring it forward here like kind of a half box, okay? And then my right leg, I'm going to bring up. I'm going to try to stack it right on top. So both toes are pointing this way. Now, I'm pretty open in my hips. I don't have a space really between my knee and my ankle. Some of you might look like this though. And if that's you, you want to take a folded blanket, a pillow or something and put in there for your support. Okay, so you want something for support. And sometimes your support may not look like that because your support needs to look like this for whatever reason. Okay, just different ways of doing it. Sometimes my ankle and my knee on this side are not in agreement with each other from a comfort level. So it's always okay to pat there. Now, if you're like, this is just not going to happen for you today, then your left leg can still be your base and your right leg can come on top in the front. Okay, kind of almost like a partial crisscross applesauce. And then that should give you the relief that you need in the knees or the hips if you are feeling something not so great trying to do it that way. Okay, so find what you need here. And I'm still sitting up on my blanket, by the way. I have not gotten rid of that. Good. Good. So I'm just readjusting. I'm nice and tall. Good. And we'll be here for 3 minutes. The first half, we're going to be upright. The last half, we're going to go forward for those of you that want that. Good. So I'm going to zip up. My belly button is in. So this is my right ankle, left knee, left ankle. I've got a little triangle going on the inside of here. How about I choose faith over fear? I choose faith over fear. And faith can be whatever that means to you. Not a whole lot of wrong answers. Sometimes knowing that there's not a lot of wrong answers or a wrong answer can take care of anxiety and nervousness itself. Always finding the way back to breath. Nice tall spine. As we approach the halfway point, decide what it is that you need or want to do. Are you going to stay here and stay upright? Do you need to go into a modification, taking the top leg forward? Are you going to take a fold? And you can fold whether you're in the full log stack or that top leg is forward or not. But if you do that, you want a nice long back. I'm just going to take my hands down here for support. I'm just going far enough forward to where I feel a stretch. So again, you're just going to about your 90%. You don't want any pain, numbness, tingling, or burning. I feel the stretch in my hip a little bit more deeply from the leg that's on top, but it is not wrong if you feel it in the other hip as well. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I choose faith over fear. I nourish my body to nourish my spirit. I inhale peace and calm, exhale worry. My internal dialogue is kind and loving. Okay. And then from here, we'll gently come up from there. Now, I'm going to gently undo. Good. And as you undo, good. You can take your hands behind you. You can get a little windshield wiper here. Maybe your legs just need to come long and shake for a moment. Again, anything that your body needs you to do, go ahead and do that. And then we're going to reverse that. So last time, my left leg was my bottom leg, the base leg. This time, my top leg is going to be my right leg. It's going to be my base, my bottom leg. And then I'm going to bring my left leg on top. So you can be here, or the top leg can be forward. Okay, so just kind of be where you need to be. Again, all of the same modifications. Do you need just something here? Do you need to have something right across, that whole leg here? Nothing wrong with that. And actually, this feels pretty good. So I'm just going to stay right here. This is my tighter side. My left side's my tighter side. So from here, get sitting up nice and tall. And we'll do this one for about 3 minutes. Good. So a nice one, affirmation, it's always true, is focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. I focus on what I can control and I let go of what I cannot. So where could you soften in the body just a little bit more? As we approach our halfway point, decide and choose where it's best for you to go. Is it being right where you are? Do you need to make an adjustment with a modification? With a long spine, do you choose to come forward? Find what you need. I focus on what I can control. I let go of what I cannot. For example, like pretty much everybody else, I've got a family member that comes to mind that has um, some issues. I'll just leave it there. I can't control that person's behavior, actions, or what comes out of their mouth. But what I can control is limiting my time with that person. And sometimes that might mean, no time at all with that person, depending on what exactly is going on. So I can control that for my own mental health and well being and for my nervous system. I can't control that person. Yeah. And then from here, once you're ready, if you went forward, we'll carefully come out of there. Good. Carefully come out in the way that you need to. Good. Give your body any little movement or whatever that it needs to. And then once you're ready, we're going to come onto our back. So hopefully we feel a little bit more open in the thighs and the hips. I'm going to grab my strap because we're going to bring that in. And since this folded blanket is here, I'm just going to take that right there. That's going to be my neck pillow. And then I'm just going to move some of these other props out of the way. I'll take a drink of water here too. All right. So as you come down, maybe taking your feet a little wider than hip width apart. Belly button's going to come in. Let yourself get a nice little windshield wiper here. Sometimes when we do those big hip openers with log stack or the wide legged forward fold, tension sometimes can build up in that low back. We'll just kind of try to release some of that here. Okay. And then once you're ready, good. Let's grab the strap. And these we're not going to hold for, necessarily a certain period of time. We're just kind of using this more as a stretch or relaxation stretch. So I've got my right foot into the strap. My left knee can be bent or that leg can be extended long. Do what feels good to you. Good. I've got a piece of the strap in each hand. a micro bend in the knee. I'm letting everything sink down into the socket. And then I'm just going to give a gentle tug in here. I just want to feel a stretch. I don't want anything to feel extreme. My upper body is grounded. You can adjust your grip, on the strap as needed. Pointing your toes towards your face will give you a deeper stretch down the back of the leg. I mentioned earlier that nourishing the body nourishes the spirit. How about self-care can bring internal peace? Self-care can bring internal peace. But what we're doing right now is a form of self-care. Okay. And we'll back off of that a little bit. Take both pieces of the strap into the right hand. Belly button is in tight towards the back. Not to prevent, but to support the back. Let that right leg go out to the right. And you can kind of wiggle around here, finding what it is that you need. Your left hip's going to stay grounded though. And so this should feel a little bit different to you than when we did the wide leg seated forward fold. Similar in the musculature, but just a little bit different too. And we'll bring that back up. Good. Switching sides. From here, we're not going to go into the full twist. We're going to do that in a moment. But with a bent knee or a long leg, just kind of wiggle around and just find that 45-degree angle. Just want a little bit of outer hip, outer thigh, getting into that IT band just a little bit here. You can move the foot around, finding anything special. You'll know it when you hit something extra special. And we'll come back up. Good. Remove that foot from the strap. We're going to take this into a figure 4 before going to the other side. So similarly to the log stack, you can be here, or you can bring this into the chest, just getting a little bit of a stretch, getting deep into that hip here. And then when you're ready, good, we'll come out of there. We're going to do that all to the other side. So switching feet, we're going to take the left foot into the strap. Right knee can be bent or the leg can be extended long, whatever feels good to you. Good. Finding the grip that's appropriate, a little micro bend in that knee. Good. Bringing that leg back towards the face. For me on this side, this is about the extent of where I'm going to be able to go today. Breathing and expanding. A nice hamstring stretch. And once you're ready, good, maybe backing off a little bit, both pieces of the strap into the left hand, belly button is in, right hip stays grounded, taking that left leg somewhere out to the left, wiggle around to find your best spot. Your right leg can be long or bent here. How about I choose serenity? I choose serenity. And once ready, we'll bring that leg back up. Good. We'll just switch out the hands here. 45 degrees arc. Find a long leg or a bent knee. Wiggle around. Find what you need. You can move the foot around if you're looking for something more special. And we'll come back up. We will remove that foot from the strap. Good. Little figure 4 here. Again, you can stay here if this is enough for you, or you can bring it in, closer to the chest. Upper body stays grounded. And then once you're ready, we will release. Good. Now I'm going to grab my timer. We're going to do a final twist here. And this is just going to be a basic supine twist, just meaning on your back. And we will try to hold this for about 2 minutes to each side. And we'll do Shavasana from there. So let me reset here. Good. So knees in tabletop position, knees over the hips, and parallel to the floor. Belly button is in. We're going to let those knees come over to the left. I want to try to keep my right shoulder grounded as I look to the right. Big breath. How about peace and calm flow to me and through me? Peace and calm flow to me and through me. So again, if you need that visualization, a safe place, a calming place, that's good for you to envision. Take yourself there and then say again, peace and calm flow to me and through me. Peace and calm flow to me and through me. And always come out as needed. Inhale peace, exhale worry. Good. Once you're ready, let's come out of here nice and gentle. Head back to center, one leg at a time. Back to center. And you can kind of wiggle around through seated. We're going to take that to the other side. So knees in tabletop. Knees are going to come over to the right. Good. Looking to the left. There we go. Breathing. You can always have something between the legs here if you ever need that. Forgot to say that on the other side. Apologies. I choose faith over fear. I choose faith over fear. I let myself soften as I let go of some of that fear. And from here, head back to center, one leg at a time, coming back in. You can rock, rock, rock. Bring the knees in. We're going to take this into a short shavasana. So you can bring anything in here that you would like. Actually, I've got 2 folded blankets here. I'm going to use them in place of my bolster, taking my legs over top. Good. And then once I settle in, getting any little wiggles out that you need. The last thought I'll give you, I breathe in to nourish my spirit. I breathe out to soften and relax. I breathe in to nourish the spirit. I breathe out to soften and relax. Beginning to take some deep breaths here, knowing you can stay right here as long as you need or would like. But when your body decides it's ready for transition, maybe gently take head and neck from side to side, inviting a little movement of fingers and toes. Choosing to come back to stillness or bringing knees into the chest. You can keep the upper body grounded on the floor, or you can wrap your arms around your legs, lifting up into a full body hug. Do what feels good to your body right now. And choosing to come back into stillness, removing any props out of the way if you used anything today for your Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you. Find that nice full body stretch, reaching from fingertips to toes, pointing and flexing through the feet, bending and stretching through the hands, curling wrists and ankles in one direction and then in the other. And once ready, bending in both knees. And you choose which side is best, rolling over to the right or left side. Taking all the time that you need here. This is a recovery position. And when you're ready, get carefully coming up to a seat. Whatever that needs to look like for you right now. Sitting up nice and tall, noticing how you feel. Hopefully a little bit more open, a little bit more serene and calm, peaceful. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Looking up at the hands. As you bring them down, we'll stop the thumbs at the forehead for good and true thoughts, to the lips for good and kind words, and to the heart for open and loving heart. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. May you find serenity and calm in your life daily. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.